Most people think endless meetings are simply a sign of bad management, but in reality, they're often a predictable outcome of the entire organizational system. Understanding that difference is the key to seeing why they're so hard to get rid of.
The average employee now attends dozens of meetings every single month, consuming a huge portion of the workweek.
So, this creates a paradox. If everyone agrees that unproductive meetings are a problem, why do our calendars just keep filling up with more of them? The answer goes a lot deeper than just poor scheduling. To get to the bottom of this, we'll look at the official purpose of meetings, then explore the unseen drivers that make them multiply, their very real hidden costs, and finally, the core trade-off they represent for any large organization. So let's start with the ideal scenario. What are meetings actually supposed to be for? At its core, a meeting is simply a tool. It's a way for a group of people to come together to focus on a specific, shared business purpose. And when they're used the right way, their value is obvious. They're for making key decisions, sharing important information all at once, brainstorming new ideas, or solving tough challenges as a team. But of course, that's the ideal. The reality is that meetings often become a workaround, a substitute for other things that are missing in the organization. The single biggest driver of meeting overload is a gap in the communication system itself. If there aren't clear, reliable ways to share updates without calling everyone into a room, then synchronous meetings become the default just to keep everyone on the same page. They stop being a tool for proactive collaboration and instead become a reactive patch for a flawed system of information flow. Another powerful driver is an organizational culture that's built on low trust. When managers feel the need to have direct oversight over every decision, meetings transform into a tool for control, not empowerment. And this creates bottlenecks, because now teams have to wait for the next meeting just to get approval to move forward. The entire purpose shifts. It's less about enabling the team to take action and more about managing risk from the top down. And finally, beyond just process and trust, the culture of the company itself can create a ton of pressure for more meetings. In some workplaces, just being in a meeting is seen as a sign of importance or productivity. This creates a kind of fear of missing out, so people feel pressured to attend meetings even when they aren't essential, which just makes those meetings less focused for everyone. This habit of using meetings as a systemic fix for everything else isn't free. It comes at a cost, and those costs are often hidden but substantial. The sheer number of meetings has climbed dramatically in recent years, especially with the move to remote and hybrid work. The most immediate cost, of course, is to productivity. Constantly switching between deep, focused work and a meeting completely fragments your attention, making it incredibly difficult to solve complex problems. Over time, that constant demand just leads to burnout. And the irony is that the very tool that's meant to speed up decisions often ends up slowing down entire projects. And then there's the direct financial cost. When you add up the salary time for every single person in a 1-hour meeting, it represents a pretty significant investment. If that meeting isn't productive, that investment is just lost. When you put all of these pieces together, you start to see a fundamental tension that exists at the heart of almost every large organization. On one hand, companies use meetings for necessary goals, things like collaboration, inclusion, and managing risk. But on the other hand, relying on them too much creates consequences that actively undermine those very same goals. And that brings us to the core trade-off, the constant balancing act between the need for organizational alignment and the need for individual autonomy to actually get work done. So in the end, a calendar that's packed with meetings isn't really a calendar problem at all. It's an organizational design problem. It's a signal that the company is substituting synchronous talk for what it really needs: more trust, clearer processes, and better access to information.